What's up, guys? This video is presented to you by EA Game Changers. Appreciate EA for flying me down to EA Play so I can get this information for you guys. Enjoy. Alright guys, here's part 2 of my interview with Ben Haumiller, producer guru of Madden NFL 19 and specifically franchise version, franchise mode. We're going to talk about the rest of this stuff. It's going to be a 20-minute video, but it has a lot of information. Hope you enjoy. I'm out. Peace.
Create rookies, and this is how you want them to start out so that they have that room to progress.
Okay. So in the scouting, nothing has changed with the scouting, right?
Correct. Nothing for this year,
okay.
Right?
But you'll be able to see that player scheme fits your scheme.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, because I found myself scouting, and I found myself like just automatically gravitating to those who fit my scheme.
Right.
Especially those in the first and second round.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, if I can get somebody that fits my scheme,
right,
that's great. The draft. Now, you guys have this nice little visual for the draft, draft stage, and it's in different cities.
So that's another piece to kind of talk about, like building immersion within franchise. This year was a stepping stone for us to start breaking franchise from being just a series of spreadsheets and menus and screens, and try to get some life and some energy into this mode. So if you're a coach, you're going to see your coach in his office, or if you're an owner, you're going to see the coach in his office, week to week. If you're playing as a player, he'll be in his locker room. Come draft day, we've got this draft stage. It's kind of a fictional city since we don't have the knowledge of where the draft is going to be every single year. So we kind of made this fictional city with a cityscape and a crowd up front, a big draft stage. And as you go through the draft and you see players getting picked, when it's time for you to make your selection, when you see that draft card come up, which is actually our most shared screenshot in the game. Whenever anyone drafts a guy, they always love to show off who they got and see that dev trait and see everything about the guy. At that same time, you're going to see the 3D model of that player coming out onto the stage, wearing his full uniform, but he's going to perform whatever it is the dev trait you just got. So let's say you got that superstar. He's going to walk out there and he's going to give you those double guns, exactly, and kind of show off. And you just drafted the next key to your franchise right there. So kind of giving you some of that feeling of a little bit more life than just selecting from a screen and moving on.
Right. So if you're in a 32-man franchise, will you see every player, or you only see your player?
You should see your player. Yeah.
Okay. You only see your player. Okay. And also, can you talk a little bit about the dev traits, because now there's no more slow.
Right.
So what was the reason behind that?
Well, the reason behind that is we work very closely with a lot of players, and some of the players are like, really?
I'm slow.
I'm slow, huh? Like, it kind of comes down to that. People sometimes feel bad to hear that we've rated them as slow. Who are we to rate them as slow in their development, right? So it was really a cosmetic change as far as that goes, as far as the naming of them. So it goes from superstar to star now.
Right.
So that was kind of the piece that replaced the slow. We kind of shifted everything up one.
So you got normal, quick, star, superstar. My question to you though is a normal is normal, but quick is one arm, right?
Right.
So actually, I want you to know that was my idea.
Oh, there we go.
Like that was my idea.
Just dropping knowledge. I didn't know that.
To do representation, as far as that, but now that you have star and quick, they're both one, right?
Right.
So how is there any difference?
You got me on a good question there. I don't know that one.
Between that,
I'll have to go back and look. I don't remember.
Yeah, because there's got to be, because they're both like this, and I'm like, okay, he's only quick.
Right.
But a star does the same thing.
Yeah.
So
let me go back and try to look at that one. All right.
I have to go back and look at
That's
that.
That's good.
Yeah. Got something.
That's good. I love it. Yeah.
All right. Can you tell us a little bit about, we talk about the immersion of the game, and I love the coach in the office and the player in the locker room. What I would love to see, and I know a lot of content creators would love to see, is the ability to just wipe away the menus.
Right.
And just have that.
Yeah.
Just have, because I already know guys like, QJB and Anto, they would go crazy if it was just their guy, their superstar on the phone talking.
Right. Yeah.
With no menu.
That's a good question, because we, when we were developing some videos for the thing, we did disable the UI because we have some tools on our side that can do that.
You guys got tools like that.
And it looks really cool to see that whole room like that. So it's an interesting one. Let me talk to some guys about that and see if that's an option.
Press down on the right side.
Right, whatever it is, something that's unused on that screen.
The menu, that would be awesome. All right, so let's talk about
So while we're in it, we can talk about snapshots. While we're in the office, we can talk about that too.
Yeah,
so in the course of the game, while you're playing, at the end of the game, it will take automatically 5, auto-generated snapshots from your game. You can also go into manual replay and take your own, up to 5 snapshots. So those are photos from your game that will now come back into the front end. So when you're in that coach's office, there's a TV behind him, much like this, right? And it'll be snapshots from your game, like rotating through. If you're in an online franchise, I might see, photos from your game coming through there. It'll be in the news feed. Photos from the game will show up in the news feed. Load screens. So you're loading into the game, you're going to see photos from games you've recently played. When you boot back into the game, when you've stepped away for the day and you come back the next day, power up, you're going to see load screen of the main menu. You're going to see snapshots of the main menu right there. So we want to try and have these pieces of the game live beyond just, okay, I've exited out of the game and it's gone forever. We want to have it kind of filter through the whole front end system as well. So you're going to see snapshots constantly along the way that you can, if you get one you don't like, you can delete it. There you go. You can go and make your own set of whatever you want to have on there, and then you'll see them cycle through. So another that piece of that immersion that comes through is that you can see some of the stuff that's happened most recently in your games throughout your experience.
Okay. Has there been any rework done to like training, as far as the weekly training stuff, the scouting? I know the scouting was pretty much only what you did on first down. Has that been reworked to show more of what somebody is really doing?
Right.
In my opinion, I love Coach Glass.
Yeah.
And I would love to see something like Coach Glass right in that space right there.
Yeah, unfortunately this year we didn't get a chance to get to that area. The training increase really this year is the scheme boost that you get on top of it. Yeah. That's really the only piece that changed this year. But it's an area we know we want to get back to and do more with, because there's so much more you can do in that, a prep leading up to a game. So it's on our list. It's just not there yet.
Okay. Is there a new Super Bowl presentation?
So we've got the new Super Bowl host cities and the rotation there built in. But as far as the actual presentation of itself, I think it's pretty much the same as it has been in the past. So.
Okay, so when we're talking about the future of franchise, what are on the top of you guys' list for things to do? I mean, I know the community would love to see offensive and defensive coordinators.
Right.
Contracts. Are those on the top of you guys' list as well?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we know we are way behind on contracts. That's without a doubt. We know contracts are something that we need to put at the top of our list of things that we need to get to. Things like coordinators. We want to get. I mean, I used to love having that in NCAA, being able to go through and start up as a coordinator at a lower level school in that progression piece. I think there's something missing right now in the franchise experience. Could you start as a head coach already? Like let's have that experience of building up and kind of becoming a head coach. So those are things that we definitely want and are looking at. But I think really for us right now, it's trying to set what is that future of franchise. I think we're kind of coming to that place right now of, okay, what is this true future going to be? We see a little bit of it right now with the first steps from taking it from just an overall game to now having different thoughts about how you're going to build your team because of the scheme fits. You see a little bit of that immersion piece of the hubs, the 3D environments, to make it so that you're getting a little bit more from just a spreadsheet, but more of a, something that's tangible that you're seeing and acting out and having a something visual in front of you. So I think kind of combining some things there, it's really the future of franchise is really about, okay, where do we want this thing to go? How do we want it to replicate what we're seeing in the real world and bring that more in there, give you more tools, more things to build out, and more features that are kind of missing from the current experience. So we don't quite have a direction we're going to say, set for the North Star, and this is where we're going to go that I'm ready to announce yet. But I think it's going to be a lot more of an immersive experience, trying to really get you hooked into this franchise experience and loving the mode that we all love so much.
Okay. New player positions. I forgot to mention that. You got the slot corner, slot wide receiver,
right?
Sub linebackers.
Yep. Rush defensive end, rush defensive tackles. For the first time ever, you don't have to just know, okay, the third receiver in my depth chart is my slot. But if he gets hurt, how do I? But there's always so much of trying to figure out how to manipulate the depth chart to get the guys on the field to where you want to without using things like packages or formation subs. So now you've got true depth chart positions for things like third down back, for your power back, so that you can set these sort of things to be able to say, okay, here's who I want on the field in these certain situations. Because you were seeing things where some of these hybrid guys like maybe a Khalil Mack or something, in a certain situation where you want him on the field, was getting rotated off because of the formation that they were out in.
Right.
But we're going to fix that and make that proper with the depth chart pieces here, and that's for that's in franchise, that's in Ultimate Team, that's in Play Now, that's everywhere you go. These depth chart pieces are there, and the guys did a lot of work to really make sure that the right players were showing up in those depth charts, especially when you auto reorder and go future years, trying to make sure you got the right guys that fill those spots, but you can go in and make those edits yourself. So that really helped along the way to give you more flexibility to be able to set what you want on your depth chart where you're going through.
So I'm able to put, let's say I'm the Steelers, I can put Antonio Brown in the slot as a slot receiver, and every time I have 3 wide receivers in the game, he's going to be in the slot.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay.
But you can also, we still respect things like formation subs and packages overriding depth chart. That's historically how it's always worked. So if you want to use formation subs to put him in a specific spot for a specific formation, even though he's the slot receiver, but you want him over on the wideout over here, he'll still show up as the wide over here because you set that in formation subs. So, formation sub sits up top, then packages, and then your depth chart.
Okay, are custom playbooks still, is there still a problem with formation subs and custom playbooks?
We did a lot of work this year. I need to talk to Anthony White. He's the guy to see where we netted out with that. I don't know exactly where that ended, but I know they were looking to do a lot of work on formation subs. And that was one of the things with having these new depth chart positions, is we had to create a lot of kind of one-off formations to account for how NFL teams were using their personnel in real life.
Right.
So that when you were playing in the game, guys were lined up in the right spots. Now utilizing these positions, we can throw away all of those one-off formations we had to create to get personnel in certain spots because the Patriots do it this way, but the Eagles do the same thing this other way. Now you can use the depth chart position to have that work fine, and so it kind of cleaned up a lot of that. So that's a good question. I'll follow up with Anthony on to see where we ended up there.
Okay. Also, playbooks.
Yeah.
I noticed when scrolling through the playbooks, especially when you're on the scheme fit screen, certain playbooks are for certain schemes. I guess what I'm trying to ask is, do those plays really help that scheme fit? They're tailored towards, let's say I run a zone run scheme.
Yeah.
The playbook that I choose will have more zone runs in them than other
It will be built to have those types of concepts and those types of plays. Yes. We don't do anything like give you if you're 100% scheme fit, you get a +5 across the board's ratings boost type thing. We didn't go that route with it. But your players, because if they are scheme fit guys, they're built in a way to be best to run those types of plays. So you'll kind of inherently get a better performance out of your team if you're running the scheme plays with your scheme fit guys, because their ratings are indicative of someone who would be good at running those type of plays.
Now, I would love to see that, though. If an offensive line has been together for a couple of years, that there's some kind of chemistry boost.
Yeah, no, I think there is something there, right? Or you think about back in the day with Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison, right?
So quarterback and their tight end.
Right.
I feel like that's the next step in maybe creating some kind of longevity, some replay value.
Right.
I think schemes are going to work very well, because one thing I hate is, like you said, everybody's trying to just go for the top overall guy. Nobody cares if they fit their scheme or not. If I'm running a 3-4, I'm picking that defensive end that, okay, he's a 4-3, but man, he's a beast.
Right, yeah.
And it shouldn't work like that. If I run a 3-4, but I have that 4-3 defensive end in there, he should not do well. And I'm glad to see that now with schemes, this will pay off. People say, oh, there's no knock if he doesn't fit your scheme, but I'm like, yes, there sort of is a knock.
Right, yeah.
There sort of is a penalty for him not fitting your scheme, because
you might not see it that week, but you'll see it over the long term. And it was really funny. Every year we get a chance to go visit with Coach Madden and talk about the newest features that we're doing for the year. Watch a day of Sunday football with him, which is, it's just the greatest trip to do.
Awesome. Does he have that many TVs?
Oh yeah, I'll show you the picture of it after. Yeah, he's got everything lined up, and the best thing is he's got that phone next to him. If he sees something he doesn't like, he's on so many committees still, and he's as sharp as a tack still. Really? You would think he would get the gameplay pieces. But no, he still knows the game on a whole. You can talk to him about anything we're doing in franchise. He's like, okay, I get that. We were talking about schemes this year, and we're talking about if you want to run a 3-4, or 4-3, kind of building out. He goes, one year I had a better linebacker than I did a defensive end, so we switched to a 3-4. We won a Super Bowl that year. Like he's like, even he was just like, sometimes he would change his scheme to fit, his personnel. Yeah. Because he's like, make sure you guys are able to do that. And like he still has these imparting pieces of wisdom that he wants to put on us of like, all right, you young kids, you doing out here whatever, but make sure you do it right. And this is something in the scheme world. People are going to change their schemes to fit their personnel, and it might do them well. So make sure you can do that in the game. Like, of course, sir, we're going to do that.
So I like the new players' positions, especially like the power halfback. Mm-hmm. But are there formations that are going to have that power halfback as the primary running back? So if I'm in goal line,
yeah,
will my power running back be there, mm-hmm. or will I need to put him there?
No, he'll be there.
Okay,
and he might come out.
So in certain formations, he might already.
Yeah, you won't have to. You'll see it if you're at the play call screen and you're looking by formation. You'll see his number that he's been plugged in for that one. But yeah, you won't have to go. Oh, it's power back time. Let me. You can use your packages if you're in a formation where he's not set in there to make him the guy in there. But if you're using a goal line formation, that power back guy, because of the set of the depth chart, will already be in there for that for that formation. So you might come out very first, play of the game in a 4-wide set and guns, and you have your elusive third down back is in that formation on the very first play of the game because that's what that formation calls for.
Right.
So and then you come back the next time with a tight eye, and you got your power back in there. And you come out the next, so it will automatically update based on whatever the formation calls for.
All right. So I'm gonna throw you a tough question right here.
Here we go. Let's do it.
A lot of people in the community are asking about the companion app.
Yeah.
Is there any news on that? Will we be able to? Because the community feels like we want to do everything that we can do on the app that we can do in the game, except for play the game.
Right.
What is there?
We want that too.
Is there something going on?
We want that too. We're not there yet though. But we want that too. But you think back to my former life, right? We had the Dynasty webpage.
Yeah.
You could do all your recruiting. You could do everything there, and you came in and you to play the game, and you go back and do everything there.
Yeah.
We see the value of that. We know the value of that. We want people to come in and sure, if you want to spend your entire time on your couch doing free agency and that sort of thing, you should be able to do that. But if you want to do it on the go, you should be able to do that too.
Right.
So we know that companion app piece needs to get a lot stronger. We have to just it's one of that's one of the fun parts and also the hardest parts about franchise is there are so many directions you can go and so many things you can do. And for us, it's really trying to. And I know before I wasn't very succinct with an answer of the foundation of plans for 20, but it's because there are so many ways you can go with this thing. And I think we can have an hour-long conversation about the future of franchise and where it should go. And I might talk to somebody 20 minutes later and have another hour conversation where we go just as deep on a whole different path of what it can be. And that's what I love about franchise so much is that you can go everywhere with it, right? So I think for us, it's where do we want it to go, and what are the pieces that are going to bring it along the way there. And I do think the companion app and getting something to where you're not just confined to sitting on the console or PC this year, for that matter, and doing everything right there. You should be able to, if you're waiting in a doctor's office, look through some trades, see what some options are there. I would love to see that.
That's what I want to do. All right, yeah. I'm gonna end it with this. Long Shot 2.
Yeah.
Talked with Michael Young.
Right.
He talks about at the end of the story.
Yeah.
Devin and Colt can go into your franchise, go into a franchise. Mm-hmm. There's going to be commentary, around that. Is there anything, I feel like I like that idea, is there anything added to that you can talk about? Yeah,
I mean, you think of it like Play Now Live, right? That we introduced last year.
Right.
Where you can start in week 7 with everything being current up to where we are in the week 7 of the NFL. Same concept here. You end Long Shot 2, you can take Devin into franchise, and you pick up right where that story ends off, and you continue on for the rest of his career that way. Right. So it takes over there. We've got, like we said, special commentary that is just for the Devin character, that kind of talks to the things that have happened throughout the Long Shot story that go into play here. So it's kind of when he makes that transition in though, it's like you're doing the franchise as a player, so and Devin's your player. Yeah, it's a superstar.
Is there anything new with Superstar, or I mean, I seen some of the hubs.
Right.
Stuff looks good.
Yeah, so you see the player in the locker room, as you're playing through
positions that
and
you can be.
Right, you've got the position pieces there. You've got your way of your upgrading the archetypes of how you're going to upgrade your own player because you're using your skill point on yourself, not just as a coach you're doing for the whole team. As a player you're doing for yourself. So there's some changes there, but fundamentally the large pieces of Superstar are still the same as they've been before.
Okay.
But, we've talked about, what do we want to do, expansions, things like that. We definitely know that's an area where our fans are like, we want a true superstar experience. So that's something that we are looking at as well.
All right. Is there anything else you want to share?
We've covered a lot, haven't we? We've covered a whole bunch. And the funny part is, I'm going to get back to the office, and John White's going to be like, you didn't talk about this, you didn't talk about this.
I know. We'll just have to do another.
We'll have to catch up again. Yeah, for sure. But no. I mean, I'm excited for this year. As a longtime Madden fan, as a longtime franchise guy, this is my first year in the franchise world. And it's been just so much fun to get back in here talking to you guys again about what we're doing. Yeah. Having new features like Edit Draft Class or the Scheme Fit piece to talk about and get people excited about what we're doing in franchise, because we love the mode. We are franchise guys, and so we're just like, and we want everyone to love it too. And I know it doesn't always feel that way sometimes, and so that's what we're here for, is to say, okay, the past is the past. Here we are now. The franchise is going forward. Come on with us.
All right. So I know I said that was my last question.
Here we go. All right, one more.
But I've been talking to a lot of people, and I have the impression that we'll see NCAA football game within, I want to say, 2 to 3 years. What are your thoughts on that?
No one in the world wants to see it back more than me.
I know.
I guarantee you that.
I know.
But where we are right now, it's not something that we are able to action on. So we're waiting patiently until everything gets figured out, and we're going to see what the landscape looks like at that point. So you'll know when we make the decision. I know. Because you're going to hear me screaming
wherever you are,
and tears of joy running down all that. But we're not there yet.
Yeah.
But I keep saying I'm still here, and I'm here for a reason, because I want this thing to come back, and I think it will. Just don't know when.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you joining me.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Madden NFL 19 comes out August 10th, but you can get it early on Xbox for early access, right?
Right.
August 7th.
Yes.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.